The cheapest annual membership you can get is only $25,000.
What does $25,000 get you?
Well, they haven't released those details just yet.
Welcome back to Arsenic Culture. I'm Matt.
Jason.
And we don't have a third guest today.
It's all us, baby. It's all us.
Just the two
The
of
A
us.
team. Hey, team.
What's up, man? We are the OGs on this,
right,
actually.
that's right.
The originals. It's hard getting a third person in here, honestly.
Is. Hard schedule.
And I love the idea of having like a rotating guest in here, but like trying to like coordinate with everybody, especially when it's like last minute trying to get together. It's fucking annoying.
We've had to cancel twice, rearrange last week.
And
so,
one was my fault, and then all of a sudden it's like,
happens.
we got to get something out. So, and we got a product here that is, I guess this is
a little time
hot shit.
sensitive.
Yeah, a little time
Yeah.
sensitive. So we need to get something out. But on the note, how have you been?
Been good, man. Can't complain. A little busy with work, but just going around. I actually went to found myself in Bardstown this week.
Yeah.
Went to Heaven Hill, stood in line before opening, hoping for a big bottle, and ended up with a little bitty Elijah Craig grenade.
Well,
hey, better than nothing.
Something.
Better
Yeah,
than
that's
nothing.
exactly right. Yeah.
I was hoping for like the Heaven Hill 18 or something like that, you know. William Heaven Hill. No.
Well, that's you were hoping, man. It doesn't hurt to cross your fingers, but man, I fucking hate lines. Lines are like the antithesis of my being. And I used to be like a lot better with it, like okay with it, but like as I get older, I guess my time I just feel like is like so valuable. I don't mean like I'm important. I am important. I'm
think
super
that's what you
important.
meant.
I'm the most important. But it's just like I fucking hate wasting time. And it's like even if you're in line for something awesome, I'm just itching. I'm just like, I go get out of this fucking line.
Usually I'm triple tasking while I'm standing in line.
Right.
Like
Sending some emails and
I have my AirPods in, listening to something. But I'll tell you though, the line conversations are fantastic.
Sometimes it can be.
They were fantastic around me this time.
Were they really?
They were talking about brands. Oh, they only release the President's Choice here at the distillery. And I'm thinking, we're not at Old Forester. We're at Heaven Hill. What are you talking? So had no idea what was going on. The people around me talking I was like, well, you have no idea what you're talking about.
And I love chit-chatting people, but sometimes...
I wasn't talking. I was eavesdropping.
Oh, eavesdropping, yeah. Sometimes
better.
you get the guy behind you that just wants to talk, and like you got your AirPods in, and he's just like, so, what do you do for a living? And it's like, motherfucker, you don't care. Like, don't ask me. I know you don't care.
That should be the universal sign of I don't want to talk.
Like, don't talk to me. Yeah.
You see both of them in. Like, don't have one. It's both.
Yeah, it's
I
like
do not
turn
want
up.
to talk.
Yeah.
Noise cancel shit on. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I do that in the gym, and I feel like such an asshole, but it's like I put my headphones in, and it's like there's so many nice people there.
Yep.
Where I go, it's like it's all older people. That's fine. And they just love, older people especially love to talk.
Yeah, sure.
And like I'll be walking by and I'll turn my music up, you know, so they can hear it. So they don't leave me alone. But every once in a while, it's like I'll have it off, and then like old man Withers comes over. He's like, "So, how about that weather today?" And I'll pretend like they're on, and I'll just keep walking by. Like,
dude, old dudes especially, they want to talk to you. They want to seek you out.
And then once you start, they won't fucking stop.
Nope.
Like it's end up like, I got 30 minutes to work out.
Right.
We've been talking
Yeah.
for like
Yep.
28 minutes
Because they're
like,
there
I gotta
for
go.
3 hours. You're there for 45
Yeah,
minutes.
it's like this is like they're retired, and it's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Well, I'm gonna go to the gym, and I'm gonna go talk to Matt and see what he's been up to and how his kids are doing, and oh, my daughter who got a concussion. Let's see how she's been.
That's right.
But,
So what have you been up to, man?
Nothing. My daughter got a concussion.
Speaking of.
Yeah, no, she's 10 years old, and she ran into one of her buddies in the bathroom, and her buddy came up, and she was like, hey, and she tackled her, knocked her head against the damn sink.
Dude, it happens.
Yeah, didn't knock her out or anything like that, but hurt her pretty bad, enough that the nurse was like, wrote a note and sent it home, be like, hey, by the way, your daughter might have brain damage. So just here's a note to, like, you know, exclude us from responsibility.
You know, that's one of the biggest things that have changed during my lifetime and yours too, of how people handle injury like that or sports-related concussions.
Yeah. Right.
You know, when you were younger, if you had that injury, it'd be like, get up, you're fine. You know what I mean?
Shake it off.
Now it's like, oh my God. And it's a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that can come from that, but it's changed a lot. You know, that and technology, I guess, are the two big ones.
Yeah. But
anything else you've been into?
No, man. Getting ready to go to a little thing called Swansea Day tomorrow. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of that. I might just go with you.
You want to go?
I might.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, we didn't have this planned beforehand. I'm excited about Swansea. I know this episode isn't about Swansea. We've already gone on like 12 tangents here, but it's been Wait, when did we go last?
So I think it's been 3 years.
It's been 3 years.
Because they're doing it every other year now.
Right.
They're not doing it every year.
And
so I think it's been 3 years.
And Zwanzi is a beer celebration for a brewery called Cantillon out of Belgium. And it's really just a celebration for them. It's basically like kudos to these guys. Are they the ones that started it?
They're the only ones that do it.
Yeah, but it's about Cantillon.
Yep.
But Cantillon, they make lambic beer, which is like a sour wild fermented ale.
Mm-hmm.
And their stuff is very highly sought after. And they used to do this every year. Now they do the celebration every 2 years, and they have venues. They select venues around the world. And how many are there? Do you know?
So I think in the U.S. there's probably like 30 to 40. It's been shrinking.
But the U.S. has got the most.
Yeah.
And then other countries,
to my
there'll be
knowledge.
like one or two like scattered around. But it is a worldwide celebration. And then they, everybody toasts the Zwanzi beer of that year that they brew. And this year they made it with, what was it?
I was going to say, do you know what it is?
It's seaweed, right?
Yeah, it's like sea lettuce.
Sea lettuce, that's what it is. Yeah, that sounds.
They kept talking
so
about abalone, like farm. That's like mollusks. I don't even know what the hell that is. Shells
I guess.
Is what I thought it was. But.
I read some of the preliminary reviews, and it's like, it's very like the umami is like with like shellfish, and I'm like, this is not.
It might be like that mushroom beer that Jester King did a long time ago. Remember that one?
Yeah, I'm still excited because
hell. I mean, they'll have other stuff there
we'll have
too.
A good time
so shout out to Holy Grail. Shout out to Nolan Distribution, who brings Cantillon in for us. So appreciate that.
Nolan's been on the show a few times. We love that guy. So
we'll probably see him tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, speaking of that, let's switch over to bourbon.
Yeah.
Would you like to learn about a multifaceted whiskey lifestyle brand?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, then I've got either way, you're going to say yes, and I have got the one for you.
Yes, I'm very interested. So this is Bourbon Lore, which is not a manufacturer or a distillery, but
turn on the box.
Yeah, what is the brand of what's the juice?
So it is Holladay, Ben Holladay Distillery. And something I'm just noticing on this box. I mean, it's a cool design.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool design. It's a cheap box, like it's very thin. But there's not one thing on this box that says Ben Holladay.
No, it doesn't. It all says Bourbon Lore.
Which is odd, right?
Yeah, but tell us, Jason, what is Bourbon Lore?
Well, it's a multifaceted whiskey lifestyle brand.
Without getting into details, that sounds like the Merriam-Webster's definition of a pyramid scheme. Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, I could not confirm.
I really don't know.
I'm not a member.
Okay.
I'll get into why I'm not here in just a minute,
okay.
though. So, it's a company dedicated to assembling the most complete history of bourbon whiskey through multiple channels. Thinking online content, social media, dedicated website. They're going to do a premium YouTube channel, although we have more views right now than they do.
Okay.
And then luxury experiences. And I think that is the big one they're going for. So it's more experience driven.
Gotcha.
Versus like this is the most rare thing you can get.
So it sounds like marketing. This is marketing driven.
It's a honestly, I know it's cheesy. It's a lifestyle brand. Like it is I think when people say Bourbon Lore, it's going to be like Pappy is what they envision, right?
Okay, so like, is it Ben Holladay or is it just Holladay the juice?
This is a Ben Holladay blend, is what this is. We'll take the ball out.
So do they only do this distillery?
No, so this is the first, to my knowledge, everything I can find. This is the first thing they've released. Kind of odd too. Again, the box is pretty cool, but they don't have.
Leave the box up here.
So like you're good. I mean, everything about it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's 7 years old. It's 7 years and 1 month, actually.
Okay.
Comes out of Missouri. So this is Holladay Distillery. They make their own juice, their own bourbon whiskey.
Okay, I've not heard of them before.
I hadn't either. I mean, maybe in the last year I'd heard about them, but nothing, it's not like anything crazy.
Okay.
It's an 18-barrel blend, so it's not a single barrel. So they took some of the big hitters they have on their roster of people. They're like, some of these guys are founders. Some of them are just like influencers, I guess.
You're talking about not Ben Holladay. You're talking about Bourbon Lore.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So let me go into them a little bit. So Mason Walker is the founder and CEO.
Okay.
And then Clay Risen is also a co-founder.
Okay.
He's a whiskey historian and was writing a book. And I think that's how they got together about this.
Interesting. Okay.
So this Mason guy is the main one behind it. On his bio, it does say a few times this. He was president and CEO at 29 years old of a company called Odyssey. I think like hearing products or something,
Okay.
like hearing aids or something like that.
Okay.
They write this too. They sold for $151 million in 2016.
Good for him.
So dude's rolling it, I would assume.
Okay.
It also gives a little backstory of him. I think his family, maybe dad, mom, were into like antiques. They lived out west. I think it was Arizona.
Okay.
So that got him started in like collectibles and learning things about that. So other guys on here though, David Jennings. So Rare Bird is his name on Twitter.
Okay.
He's like the probably resource for all things wild turkey.
Is he really?
Yeah, for sure.
So you know who he is.
I respect his opinion. I respect his content.
Because you're a wild turkey guy.
I'm a wild turkey guy, but I believe what he tells me on those things, you know. And then Emerson Shotwell, I'd heard this name before. I don't really know exactly what he does, but he's on Instagram, kind of an influencer.
Okay.
His handle on there is WFE Fan Club. It's Willett Family Estate Fan Club.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's something I've seen from this brand. A lot of the guys from Willett, the fans of Willett, transitioned to Rare Character, another brand.
Okay.
They kind of went away from Willett gradually. And now this guy, who's a Willett Fan Club, is on Bourbon Lore. So he's a partner with them or like an influencer with them.
Okay.
There's kind of a loose hierarchy, I guess I would say, online.
Okay.
The main guy is Mason Walker. That's definitely the main guy.
Okay.
So concept, we talked about it. Membership tiers. Here's where it gets a little sticky. So these are annual fees.
Now these are for the public.
Yes. When anybody that wants to get in Bourbon Lore could potentially. They don't have these open yet, to my knowledge.
Okay.
But here's
that goes back to, you said this is not the only brand that they have.
No, think Bourbon Lore is me and you. It's arsenic culture, right? And then if we do a barrel pick, it's arsenic culture.
Gotcha. Okay.
Barrel
so
pick.
they're doing barrel picks and stuff.
They will, and they'll also do experiences. I think they're going to focus more on experiences.
Experiences. Okay, we'll get into that.
To launch their brand online. I think they flew a bunch of these people out west, like to the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
And it was like a week-long event kind of thing.
Jesus. Okay.
They were opening rare bottles, going to nice dinners, taking an air tour, like helicopter tours or plane tours at the Grand Canyon. Like they pulled out all the stops.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's what they're wanting to be, right? It's a lifestyle brand. It's an influence kind of thing.
Okay.
So membership tiers, if you want to be a member, the cheapest annual membership you can get is only $25,000.
What, for the year?
A year. That's yearly.
Holy shit. Okay.
That's the bottom tier.
What does $25,000 get you?
Well, they haven't released those details just yet.
Okay.
They plan to release fall of 2024.
Okay, so it only goes up from there.
Yeah, and the top tier.
Wait. How many tiers are there? There's 3.
Well, I think there's like 4, but they really didn't. In the articles I was reading, it really didn't tell you like all the tiers because they don't have them lined out.
Okay.
The cheapest is $25K a year. The most expensive is $150,000 a year.
Okay. Yeah.
So
this is starting to get fun. Anyways, go ahead.
It was. So they're trying to do limited edition bourbon expressions, so like single barrel picks, but everything I could see they're really wanting to focus on experiences.
Okay.
And then one of the guys here, and we'll talk about that when we get into bourbon. Go ahead.
So what else? You said this is the first bottle they have released. How long have they been around?
I would say under a year.
So these guys are new. This group, Bourbon Lore, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
This entity it's only been around for a year, but
yeah, I would say concept wise. I mean, I've only heard about them the last 6 months, 8 months.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So are they a big deal like on the bourbon scene right now? Necessarily?
I don't know. I mean, if you look,
I haven't heard anything about them.
So if I could look at our social medias, if we go on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, follow us if you've not already.
Yeah.
But they're sponsoring a lot of ads, so they're trying to build it. Like you're seeing them in the feeds, but when you see them, it's sponsored. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you go to their actual page or their like accounts, there's not a lot of likes or views yet. Yeah. I think they're still in the infancy phase.
Right.
And then if you don't have a membership, I mean, if your low tier membership's $25K, that's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, you're not getting me or you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And obviously, we'll get into the end about like cost versus value and stuff like that. But just go ahead.
We don't know what the. I mean,
pop the cherry on this one.
Yeah.
What did this cost?
So this was actually, I thought, very reasonable. $99. That's a weird cap.
It's a
twist cap.
Oh,
I've never seen that before.
Plastic twist cap. Yeah.
It's like metal, but so this was a $99. It was on Bourbon Outfitters.
Okay.
And that is actually, I think, Justin's House of Bourbon. That's where it comes out of.
Okay.
So shipped to my house, $120. I mean, honestly, it's not bad for 7 to 8 year. I think it's, what did it say, 7 years?
7 years, 1 month, was that right?
Yeah, so for a blend, I mean, and the guys that did this blend, so you had quite a few. You had the distiller at Ben Holladay, which is Kyle Merklein. Then you had Mason, the guy back up top.
Okay.
You had Clay and Emerson, those guys from the founding people.
Right.
You had David Jennings, so Rare Bird.
Yeah.
And then you had Ryan Alves from Justin's House of Bourbon. So a local guy.
Okay.
A lot of the people really respect it. I've never met him in person.
Right.
But I think he knows his shit. I mean,
Okay.
It's just
So
what
you've
I
heard
get
of
from
him.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anthony, or friend Anthony at the mashup and stuff, he's been on their show.
Okay.
Seems a very knowledgeable, very connected guy.
Sure. Okay, cool. So
they actually helped pick this.
Right. Okay, cool. So Bourbon Lore does not make whiskey.
No.
They do barrel picks, but
They've done one.
But they're pushing quote unquote the experience.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure I want to wrap my head around.
It is. There's not a lot of details, and the details that are there kind of like. And there might be some. I mean, I didn't find them. I mean, it's possible. Don't get me wrong. I didn't do 300 hours of research on this brand, but it's a little sparse, the details right
okay.
now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so
but what do you think on the nose? Let's talk about the product itself. I mean, it smells pretty damn good.
Yeah, I had a little fingerful on accident, and the finger wasn't bad, but finger's always good.
This was 18 barrels blended together. There was 2,982 bottles. You can see that on the front there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do think the bottle's pretty cool. The topper,
not
cap,
so much.
well, it's no, it's probably not so much. But I've never seen this. Maybe it's more of like an old time feel, you know. Instead of, but I mean, even back then you had corks, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
actually,
I would assume,
old time. I think the standard
just
was like a cork.
Yeah,
yeah. So
like
this is
saloon.
Yeah, this is a little bit more mainstream. I think it's actually good. I like.
I do
this.
too.
I like this.
I do too. I think it's very good.
And honestly, for the price point, I might actually pay that if it was off the shelf. Maybe not. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that regularly. But I mean, it's sweet. It's got nice like cinnamon notes, some brown sugar in there. I mean, I think this is a tasty beverage.
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So with Holladay Spirits, you know, what they're doing there, it's pretty cool. It's their own stuff. They're not sourcing things. This is theirs. And then to make this only in Missouri, that's where they're at, it's only ingredients from the state.
Oh, really?
So everything they have in it is that.
So this is
Actually, I apologize. It must be made with corn, exclusively grown in state, just corn.
So that's some.
I don't know if it's all ingredients, but
that's some terroir. That's some Missouri terroir.
So in 2019, actually, House Bill 266, for everybody really wanting to know the House Bill number. Okay. Real Missouri bourbon. It must be mashed, fermented, distilled, aged, and bottled in the state.
Okay.
The oak barrels it's aged in have to also be manufactured in the state.
Okay.
And then in 2020, they added to that and said it needs to be made with corn exclusively grown in the state.
Okay, interesting.
Just like Buffalo Trace, for example. They have so much product, they're trucking in who knows where.
Yeah, exactly, because they got to go with volume.
Yes. I mean, we went there for a tour not too long ago, and it was a constant stream of 18-wheelers loaded down with grain. I mean, just coming through. Crazy amounts. But anyway, I do think this is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's got a good mouthfeel. It's not like quite where I want it to be, but I mean, it's good.
Yeah,
and the flavor profile I think is excellent. I love that sweetness.
I don't think it drinks. It's not hot. If somebody's asking that, like it's not alcohol forward. No. I think they did a good job blending this. It's a solid job there. For $100, I mean, that's what it'd be retail. They sold some out of their store there, and then the rest were online. They sold out immediately online.
Okay.
We may or may not have a pre-sale code. Thank you to whoever you were. You know.
Whoever you are.
But we got one. So anyway, I'm glad I did. I think for $100, I mean, you're looking at, what is that, about $15 a year if you're looking at 7-year bourbon.
Right.
Today's market, that's right on. I mean, I think it's a pretty solid price. Secondary, I've not seen one go for sale yet, My guess is it would probably go from 150 to 200.
So you think there is some secondary in
there? There will be. I mean, I think there's secondary in everything to a point.
This is good enough that I would be interested to try some other Holladay stuff. Maybe even like some single barrels, just to kind of see what kind of character to get and see what else they have. No, I mean, I think this is great. I wouldn't pay $100 for this again.
Yep.
I'm glad that you did, and I got to try it.
I probably would. I wouldn't mind to have a backup bottle. Yeah. I wouldn't go more than two, one open and one backup.
Right, yeah. I think this is a solid like $70 bottle to me.
Yeah.
I would pay that, and I would do that happily like whenever like the urge struck me for retail value.
I think you're like me too though. We're used to I don't want to pay the prices now. I mean, it's just it's gotten out of control, and what we've seen in the bourbon marketplace is the retail prices, no matter who's making the money, distillery, the store, distributor, whatever, it's catching up with secondary.
Yeah.
Secondary's coming down. Retail's going up. Hell, some retail is more than secondary now.
It's interesting you say that. I kind of want to bring it back around to Bourbon Lore now.
You asked about if they just do barrel picks, and honestly, they're still in the infancy. Like, they're not completely laid out with their plan, but it's more the lifestyle brand. This is their first pick, but they want to do limited edition bourbon expressions. So it might not be a single barrel pick. Maybe it's you go on the barrel pick with them. Maybe it's like merch. I don't know.
Yeah.
But something like that.
They're trying to capitalize on there's a lot of people that do like this whole like lifestyle experience, and they do it in a lot of different industries. I'm sure they do it in bourbon too, but they are trying to capitalize on bourbon specifically. But I feel like bourbon specifically has kind of hit its apex and is not there anymore.
There's a lot of discussion on that right now.
Yeah, and so that's interesting that they're now trying to get into it. There's some local establishments that have opened up. I won't go into names, but they're also trying to do that, and it kind of makes you scratch your head. It's like, I get it that you can still be a fan, but like I feel like if you take a step back and you look at the macro picture, that might not be. That's a big word. Yeah, that might not be like the horse you want to bet on at this point, especially if you're offering a $25,000, shit tier like membership.
It's fair. It's a
right?
fair point.
Like how far in are you going to go with quote unquote the bourbon experience when you're not actually producing anything? All you're doing is essentially you're doing barrel picks. You're buying, repackaging, reselling somebody else's product. Like, how much is that actually going to be worth to the end consumer in the long run?
I think it's odd to me. It's kind of a red flag to me that you're promoting this exclusivity,
right?
And your first product release was to the general public.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just to get the name out. I get it.
Right.
I get that aspect. Then I also look, who's the target audience? Who's got $25K a year to throw at that?
Jesus Christ, seriously.
I mean, that's the low end. And then maybe it's like, I mean, even I don't even know if a company would sponsor a $150,000 membership. Like, I don't know who that would be. I just don't know their customer base.
No.
I mean, maybe it works. I'm not trying to like say it's bad. Maybe they make it work. I mean, I think you are, but I just don't. I don't.
Maybe I'm saying they make it work, or maybe I'm saying it's bad.
I think maybe both. I don't know. Yeah, he's on first.
Yeah,
but I just don't know their customer base. I don't know it.
I've got a lot of questions about this whole business model. I don't know. I want to say I hope it works for you guys. I really do. I don't know these guys. Whatever.
I think you've got to have a lower tier than $25K.
Fucking $25K. There needs to be like
that's a car.
Like $125 tier.
That's a pretty nice used car.
Yeah,
like,
that is absolute insanity.
Yeah.
There are people out there that would pay any number of dollars for good experiences, and in the end, I think the experience will tell the story. So if they can put this shit together and they know what they're doing, you already said they're like flying people out to like go visit stuff. That's cool and stuff like that. But even behind that, the backbone is an industry that they are not in the backbone of. They're not producing anything. Right. They're basically glorified tour guides. That sounds mean saying that, but that's what it is.
No, it's
like,
true.
Hey, look at these guys. Hey, look what these other guys made. Hey, look, we can show you what these people did. But they're not actually doing anything. It's just like, it's like going to Hollywood and getting on a bus and like paying a $25,000 ticket to go look at all the movie stars.
I'm drawing a blank right now, but we're talking about cryptocurrency. What's the things they did? Is it NFTs?
NFTs, yeah.
I feel like Bourbon Lore is an NFT.
Non-fungible tokens,
right? Like there's nothing tangible to the membership, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see
maybe
that.
maybe I'm stretching there. I don't know.
No.
Again, I mean, I like this bottle of bourbon.
I do.
So to not take anything away from Ben Holladay,
No.
I would like to explore some more of their offerings. They
I would
offer
too.
a soft red wheat, which I'd like to try.
Really?
Then they have the bourbon like this I'd like to try. I think that's all they have.
I think
mean,
so.
hell, maybe I'm
Soft
wrong.
red, I think that is like a specific strand of wheat.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's actually.
I've not looked that up, but
Yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
Oh, that's really cool. I would
I'd
like to try
it
it too.
right?
Yeah.
So you think of Weller, right? Like it's a wheated
Yeah.
bourbon. Maybe it's that.
Yeah.
So
And stuff like this.
this is good. This is good.
These guys, I appreciate them like opening this up to the public because I would have never heard about these guys. I would have never tried this.
Well, they pushed this pretty hard. They sent this out to the bigger YouTube channels, the bigger bourbon guys on there, like Bourbon Junkies, and there's more. Almost, honestly, every bourbon channel I watch and follow had this product.
Yeah.
So they didn't send us a copy for free. But
Well,
hey, we got one, and we're
yeah.
happy to try it. But
Because we're in that shit $25,000 here. We could have splurged for the 150. Yeah.
Poverty tier, $25K a year membership.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, I don't. So is it worth it? I mean, I think the bottle for me, I think that's worth it. And Matt said he might not buy it again, but for $100 for this limited edition with this, they did a very good job. I enjoy this bourbon. Nice job, whoever picked it.
Yeah.
I would buy it again. I think I'd at least try it. I mean, I wouldn't be secondary. Let's say it's 150. I mean, we're into it 120 shipped. That's about the same. There's not really secondary on it.
Yeah, that's
But
too rich for my blood.
The membership, I'm a pass. I don't have that kind of money. I wish I did. If somebody wants to give it to me, I will be a member,
If I don't have that kind of money to spend either. If I did, if I had built a really successful company and sold it and I had the money, I still wouldn't pay for this. And like I'm not a hardcore bourbon guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more hardcore than most people I know. Yeah. I enjoy it a lot. And I would not touch that. That's just the amount of money you can go into that. And I get it that if you're fucking Oprah rich and you have like, a house in every vacation
If
spot.
you got fuck you money, then go for it. But
even with fuck you money, I wouldn't touch that.
I would think other things to buy.
There's other fuck you things that I would buy. Exactly right.
I'd get the Tesla truck. I like that.
I fucking hate the Tesla truck.
I saw it in person.
There's one in town. There's a guy driving around.
It showed up to the liquor bar in Release we're at. I'm taking
Did it
pictures.
really?
I'm looking at everybody.
Yeah, he
it's
fucking
pretty-
waved to me because I drive a Tesla. So he
Yeah.
waved to me, and I was like,
Hey.
yeah, I was like, hey. Well, it reminds me because I used to drive a Jeep Wrangler, and the Jeep days, everybody waves, and this
Yep.
dude waved to me, and I was like, I guess we're doing this now. That's cool, man. But it's cool to see.
It
one.
is like the truck you drew in third grade, though. It's 100% that truck.
It's all just like triangles stacked on top of each other.
And nothing's level. It's just like if you look at the side,
Yeah.
it's not like real smooth. It's just kind of warped.
Except in third grade, I had like exhaust coming out of the pipe, and it was just like a swirly, and
And then I drew a sun up there.
and the sun had like just lines
with
of
some
rays.
birds,
All right, man. Well, this bourbon is good. I enjoy it. The membership. Honestly, I hope you guys do well, but
But if somebody wants to sponsor us for the membership, we will take that.